We're live on the Sunday. I know it's weird. Don't be so enthusiastic, you guys.
Whoa!
That's better.
Damn.
I know. One of us should be especially enthusiastic because they cleaned up yesterday in the predictions. Well, not even in the predictions because we all had the same predictions. He just got lucky with the
But
numbers.
unfortunately, he wasn't there during the show, so his picks don't count.
Hey, maybe I should just be a ghost the whole time, and then I'll just carve up for the rest of the year.
Okay. You heard him. He wants to be a ghost.
Do you want me to predict Forbidden Door now? I could probably do that. I probably would, and I just won't be on the show. And I'll yeah.
No, but we are here to talk about last night's Royal Rumble event. Five. Well, we'll get into the 5 matches. I personally enjoyed 4 of them.
I enjoyed 3 of them.
I enjoyed all 5. Just a lot of them I don't enjoy that much.
Right. and the match I didn't enjoy is the match I thought I would.
There was 4 matches in an angle. I felt like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we kicked off surprisingly with the men's Royal Rumble. What do you guys thoughts on that?
First of all, Pat McAfee is back. Let's throw that out there.
Yeah. I predicted he would return in the Rumble, not for the Rumble.
He's at the desk, and I thought the sweetest part was just Michael Cole seemed legitimately happy.
Well, yeah, I was talking about before we went on it that apparently that was their legit reactions. Like his plane arrived 20 minutes before the show started, and so Corey Graves and Michael Cole didn't know he was going to be there. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We just had a random third chair at the commentary table for no reason.
Took him a second too. Yeah, that's why I kind of do feel like it might have been legit because they did take him a second to be like, get up for your announcer. There you go. And it seemed like too pre-staged.
Yeah, no, but well, speaking of commentary, I quite enjoyed commentary all throughout the night. I thought it was really solid.
I was said too. Like Pat McAfee is good. I think he knows that he's very valuable, and so he was saying things that might get other people in trouble. But he
you mean like there goes the Brothers of Bang with Sheamus and Drew?
You can't bring up the Bang Bros like every time, and it was.
Can't bring up one of my favorite channels. Oh, never mind.
But I do enjoy, and we were talking about this, that I think he elevates the enthusiasm of some of the stuff, and it gets a little infectious because when it got down to, as we'll talk about, when it got down to Cody and Gunther and they were doing all this stuff back and forth, he was standing at ringside, Michael was standing, Corey was standing, they were all just kind of like marking out just for the match and just having a good time. And I think he kind of, his enthusiasm is infectious to them. So they were just really getting into it. So, he comes off as like just a fun fan, and the fact that Triple H is in charge, at least still at the moment. I think he's let them loosen up a little bit and just enjoy the match and have a little fun. And
I guarantee no one's in their ears as much as Vince was. Right. Yeah, for sure. Yes. From what you've heard throughout the years.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know
they've all said it.
They're still feeling like they're still feeding Michael like information, which is fine. But I'm sure they're not yapping him off for every single line that he has to say, and they're just letting him like call the match and have a little fun.
And just to go off that too, like I kind of liken McAfee to a degree of like a Don West. Of like he truly seems like he's into it, which makes you care. You know what I mean? And that goes with any kind of thing. It even goes to like stand-up comics. Like if you're into it, I'm into it.
You can tell it's a different vibe though, because I think at one point early in the show too, like Michael Cole's having a go, just having a crack at the producer. He's just like, "Oh, the producer tells me that Pat McAfee's going to join us on commentary." I figured that out, genius. So he had a bit of a smart-ass comment to the.
Him and Pat had a smart ass back and forth when he's like, and Pat's just like, "Why aren't you watching the action like in front of us out in the ring?" And he's like, "I was watching the monitor. That's what I've been doing for 25 years." There was a little something. And he's just like, "They're standing right in front of us. Michael, just watch them right in front of us."
And it was also the first of 2 scary chair spots. Don't forget, McAfee almost fell off his chair when he tried to do that. And then, of course,
when he first came out. Yeah,
that dude saves his ass. And then, of course, we have the very scary botched Kofi spot too later on, which is unfortunate. Not the first time Kofi's tricks have not worked.
He's also implied that he might not do a special spot next year because that was the second time in a row he botched it.
Yeah, and he botched twice because they tried doing like the flip, like kind of German thing. That didn't work out, and then the chair spot obviously was supposed to be different. So
I will say, Reigns off Michael Cole, like when he was just being himself. I'm enjoying it, especially because he hates Top Dollar. I'm enjoying.
Oh yeah. Even like
that
was in there for 30 seconds. Yeah, he still finds time to shit on Top Dollar. I don't know what the story with that is. It's not like Cole's a wrestler. Yeah, that's kind of funny that like fucking hates Top Dollar.
We'll get into it. There's a couple of people like there was a report a few months ago that Triple H. I mean, I didn't know much about it, but there was a report a few months ago that Triple H was a bit dissatisfied with a couple of people he brought back. There's definitely two people I can think of that they've cooled off on significantly. So
say it while you're here.
Okay, Karrion Kross. Like, I don't think they think he's the biggest star. I don't think.
He was the second person eliminated, and he lasted just over 4 minutes.
And Hit Row.
Not a very long run.
Yeah, I think Hit Row suffers without Swerve. So
I think it really has. Yeah, I think it looked good on paper, but they have suffered without Swerve. Only BFAB got a Rumble spot this year, which also makes sense because there's not only so many women. But
even then, she was the first elimination, and she lasted 36 seconds.
She didn't even take her jumper thing off. That was annoying.
At least she got some kicks in. She did better than another girl we'll talk about. Let's talk about the men's though here. I'll go if you want. So I think overall good. You checked off a lot of my boxes here in the men's. You missed some of my boxes though, which was you started off hot. You started off with Sheamus and Gunther, match of the year quality last year. So you started off hot. Great ending too. I'm always a big fan of like a little mini match at the end. I like that more than like, for instance, the women's went with the kind of the dump win, which is fine though because you also don't want to do the same thing twice. But I love the great ending, good ending between Cody and Gunther. I also thought they were very good this year about giving pretty much everybody a moment to shine. You know what I mean? Like, Seth Rollins comes in, he hits his shit. Priest hits his shit. Like everyone, I thought they did pretty good, but not getting at least a moment. You know what I mean? When they first came in, that was pretty well booked in that regard. Boxes that didn't check. Huh? Yeah, for the most part. There's definitely rules to that exception. And then, of course, though, the disappointment was there was one surprise, in my opinion, which was Booker. I don't count Logan Paul because we saw him in August. You know what I mean? So, like, Edge, we saw him
Edge.
But those are people we see. That's just, I take that for granted.
Edge gets storyline injured every few months.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like I don't even take that in, and they obviously overblew Logan's injuries too, because like I said to my brother last night, who was watching it with him and his daughter, my niece, you need reasons why Logan Paul's not there anymore. So Logan Paul got seriously hurt in August. No, he didn't. He probably got a little hurt, and they didn't have anything for him until Rumble. You know what I mean?
If we're talking about spots, speaking of Logan Paul, we have to talk about that insane spot with Logan Paul and Ricochet. That was amazing.
That was cool.
Yeah, they smacked.
that spot slapped right into each other.
Yeah,
No, I kind of agree. Everyone got their moment. Except for one that comes to mind is Baron Corbin. It kind of kind of forgotten about. He gets attacked by Brock.
I thought they were going to give him the Heath Slater treatment, like they were all going to beat up on him, but no, it just kind of got beat up by Brock, and then Seth was like, cool, get out. Get in, get out.
Officially 7 seconds in the Rumble, which I think is the shortest time for this year.
Which I don't mind. But yeah, just trying to go back, though, to the other thing. Unfortunately, and not many surprises. Booker was kind of cool. He's a Texas guy. I get that. But even him, I thought, like, could have lasted a couple rounds. Yeah. He didn't even last a full round.
I thought like the pop for him. I honestly thought it was going to be bigger. Like they really went wild for the Spinaroonie. But like other than that, was just
of course it's Spinaroonie. That also goes to my other thing too. I mean, I know Texas is one thing, but as far as me, we've had Booker T. Booker T was surprised in the 40-man Rumble, and I think he's been a surprise. Oh yeah, and also when he was a commentator, surprised then too. So this is also not a new surprise again, which is what I kind of said on the preview show. Give me a new surprise, and they didn't do that. 0 NXT, which is funny because that's like the first question Rhea was asked in the scrum, the press conference. Like, hey, how did you like the NXT in the women's? Because there wasn't anything in the men's. Which I was surprised by because there's several people here, Elias, Corbin, and the tag teams, I hate to say, not in a mean way, but like Street Profits and American Alpha, you could have taken those guys out and given us a Braun Breaker, given us a whoever, legend-wise.
Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, somebody, man. Tyler Bray would have been fun. Just somebody that was
Ilya
different.
Dragunov coming in and facing off against Gunther again would have been a lot of fun to relay to that. Have them lay in on each other for a minute or two and just have a good time. They can mention their past matches. Or have Braun Breaker. He's a pretty big star in NXT right now.
He's the champion, obviously.
Yeah, he's the champion. Have him in there, and they've had NXT champions come in the Rumble, as NXT champions.
I mean, in the women's one, Roxy's a women's champion.
That's what I was going to say. We were having the debate before about what's better, the men's or the women's. Overall, I'm giving it to the men's, but if I could see why some people just kind of organically say the women's, because the women's does check off all those boxes. We got Roxy, we got Zoe, we got Chelsea Green and Nia Jax. We got 2 big returns. We got the kind of legends with like Michelle McCool. We checked off all those boxes in the women's when none of them were checked off except for Booker T, who we've had before for a minute and a half. That's the only downfall I think of this Rumble. That, and I also don't love with Cody being 30. It seems obvious. It seems fake. And because Gunther lasted so long, I was then kind of pulling for him because I was like, the dude lasted.
We were too. Jacob and I. So Jacob and I, was funny. We did our podcast last night, and then we went off the air, and we were still on the StreamYard just talking because we were planning another show. And he had the Royal Rumble in the background, and we thought it was going to be either the Women's Rumble or
because I had it muted, so I didn't know,
or maybe even the Bray Wyatt thing, whatever. So we had it muted. He was talking. We were doing this stuff, and then he's like, "Oh my god, like Gunther's coming out right now! Like what the hell is it? Oh my god, the Rumble's starting!" So I was like, "Oh shit!" And I had another hour until me and Wolfman had to do our show. So I pulled up another tab and just pulled up Peacock, and we did a little impromptu watch along. A little thing, and not on the air or anything, but we just do that, and it got down to those last 2, and we were kind of like, it'd be kind of awesome if Gunther pulled the upset. That would be kind of cool.
As much as I love Cody, I was like, good on Cody for lasting. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia somewhere. 12 minutes. I'm like, how long was Cody in there? You know what I mean?
15,
like Gunther
lasted 65 minutes. He broke the record.
I think it was
an hour 11.
Hour and 11, which is longer than Daniel Bryan lasted in the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
like he owns the record like outright.
Yeah, and good for him, and that definitely, and I'm definitely not against that because now you have a way of not only obviously does Cody look good, but then Gunther also is an MVP of the night because of that. It's a way to kind of promote 2 people in one match. I just thought it was weird that they gave Cody 30. He should have had a little tougher of a journey, is all I'm saying too, especially when he's the face that you're going to put over.
And when you announce his return, it kind of
really he lucked out with 30.
Who's coming out? Like who's going to be that last guy?
Yeah, why wasn't Logan Paul 30? Logan Paul would have been perfect 30.
Yeah,
they've done that a few times where they've announced the 30. I think 30 is not one you just don't announce. I don't know.
Well, they've had. I'm not against it if they've had in the past where there's like a match for number 30. Like they've had little battle royals on Raw where like a 20-man battle royal, the winner gets number 30. They've had that before. Where I think Rikishi, one of those.
Yeah, I was going to refer to Rikishi.
Yeah, so I don't mind if there's a predetermined way that somebody gets number 30, like earning it. That's fine, and then it's not much of a surprise, but at least like. Somebody earns. Goldberg earned it one year or something.
96, they did both. They did the losers number 1 and the winners number 3. Triple H and Duke Drosy.
Sure, you could do something like that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. And then
I'm okay with that. But just like Jacob said, I do agree that it was like, oh, okay, we know 30.
Too much.
It's still cool because I haven't seen Cody in a minute. But although I've also seen packages, so I feel like I have seen him kind of recently. So it was definitely a lesser surprise.
We were talking before because I think it's pretty funny, but it's always been the case where it's like they put so much emphasis like, oh, number 1 being going at number 1 is so difficult. Like it's such a grueling experience. I'm like, you realize number 2 is the exact same thing, right? It's not. It's like
and 3 is not great either. You only get 90 seconds, and 3 is not great.
You get a minute. Yeah. They made such a big deal about Sean. They make such a big deal about Sean in like 95 or whatever. But then, like, isn't Flair like number 2 or 3? Like a couple years.
Flair was like number 3, and he still had to last like an hour. I mean, he's not
which is longer than Sean. Sean's Rumble's actually kind of short, if I remember.
And that same Rumble that Sean won, he eliminated Bulldog to win, right? Didn't Bulldog come in at number 2?
Yeah,
but they were in the match the same amount of
Same
time.
amount of time. Yeah.
yeah, it would have been technically the same record. Yeah, I'm just saying I do find it funny. Like, yeah, they always like number one, but then
Yeah,
when
and,
thinking about it, it's just as long.
and speaking of number 2, Sheamus shout out 52-33.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, they stayed
good
into
on
that to
him.
the very end there. Yeah, what was it your final four was I got Cody, Gunther, Logan, and Rollins. And
Yeah. Which if they're setting up a Logan Paul Seth Rollins match for WrestleMania,
I'm okay with that.
I'm not
That sounds
against
good.
it.
I'll match that with. I also kind of would love to see Ricochet get a nice one-on-one because Logan's a pretty shitty heel. And I mean in a good way.
He's kind of
I could see him and Ricochet. That would be a fun one.
That would be too. Yeah, I could see
Ricochet
that
has
being
one.
like an elimination chamber match. If they're going to give Logan a Paul a match at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
I
he
could-
would work in one of those. He could do some shit in that.
Yeah.
We were talking about some triple threat match with like Gunther and Sheamus and who?
And Drew McIntyre.
And Drew McIntyre would be a great three-way big mean guy match.
The way they
That would be
kept
awesome.
interacting through the Rumble, like
a
if
big,
they
a
did
big
three-way for the
intercontinental
IC title,
three-way scary mean guy match, that would be a lot of fun.
I
They just
would
have to
be.
beat the shit out of each other. That'd be great. I dig it.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about I was surprised initially that none of the Bloodline were in the Royal Rumble, but then
I'm not at all.
But then I think it added to the match that Sami Zayn wasn't in the Rumble because I think that would have taken away from Cody's win because I think you'd get a Daniel,
100%.
I think you'd get a Daniel Bryan situation where that if Sami got eliminated, Cody would get a bit of.
You put Sammy in there as much as we love Cody. Whenever he gets eliminated by whoever, it's going to be a bit of a whimper, and it wouldn't make sense too. Like unless they said the president of Roman being like, "You guys go in there, and that way I'll have an easy Mania or something." Like you would have had to do a lot. Plus, I'm also a fan of the idea of they had their moment. Sammy and the Usos got a pay-per-view moment, so let's spread the love. You know what I mean? I also do believe in that.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm sort of going forward is just interesting because there's so much focus on how hot the storyline between Sami Zayn and Roman is. I don't know. Cody doesn't fit in there at the moment. So I'm just like,
What if-
where does he?
And here I've been doing some thinking because Cody's whole thing is Dusty's never won the big one, right? The WWE Championship. So what if Cody decides I just want to go after the WWE Championship, and that's kind of how they split the titles back up.
Oh, like night one maybe is Roman, Sammy, whatever. Night two is Roman and Cody, maybe do
For
something
the
like that.
WWE, just for the WWE Championship.
Unless they still try to go with The Rock, which I don't know. I mean, that doesn't. If it happens,
That was brought up on the.
It doesn't need to be for the title.
They brought it up on the media conference, because they're like, "Oh, we were rumoring it," and he's like, "Hey, man, Triple H is like, we try every year. It's The Rock. Of course, we're gonna try." He's a very busy man. And he's like, "Probably not, but you never know." So Triple H still left that window open.
Yeah. There's also a rumor that, like, I don't know if it was for this year, but of all people, Stone Cold got offered Roman Reigns as well.
Yeah, I know people were saying maybe a Rumble appearance by him. So
But,
obviously, we get that.
yeah. But no, I loved the men's Rumble. It's my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it's hard to compare to a normal match, but probably.
I rewatched it today because I was like, how long did that final two last? Gunther and Rollins. So as soon as Logan Paul was eliminated, I started timing it. And how long do you guys think the final two lasted?
Oh, you timed the final two. Ooh.
Yeah.
First of all, you're stealing my gimmick. I don't like that, but that's fine.
No, you timed the whole match. I timed just this final.
It felt pretty lengthy. I'll say like 12 minutes. It felt pretty lengthy.
I was gonna go half. I was gonna say 6. I don't know if it was that long, but maybe.
I'll go between you. I'll go 9.
Yeah, you dick.
7 minutes and 14 seconds. So I gave him
Hey,
quite a bit of time, and
closest.
I wouldn't mind.
Not
I wouldn't
going
mind
over.
straight up 1-on-1. I thought they worked really well together, and I especially
It was a little
loved-
cringe-inducing though, man. When he was just on the the spot was getting purple again. I was like, stop
Oh,
it.
no, don't break
Yeah.
anything.
I thought it was really good.
Storytelling.
It was really good storytelling though. So like you have a guy who tore his pec, and so you pair him with a guy who likes to
With
chop.
Gunther
shit
who's gonna
and-
murder your chest.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is. I understand why they're doing this. It's kind of great.
I liked the face off with Gunther and Brock. That was fun. Huh?
Well, that's the big rumor of Mania
Yeah.
right now, which I'm cool with.
I'm
The
cool
one
with
thing
that
about
match
Brock-
if they go that way. Yeah,
Probably meant
Also, thank you for not overdoing Brock. I was so afraid when they put him in this Rumble that it was going to be last year all over again, and they didn't. It was perfect. He came in, he looked strong because he got his eliminations, and then fucking Bobby took him out to advance that feud.
Yeah,
Wow,
2.5
perfect
minutes
Brock.
for Brock.
I actually thought they could have. He actually could have gone longer. For once, I will say that in a weird way.
He did get
But
3
I was just so
eliminations
glad.
in those 2.5 minutes, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's kind of perfect. He doesn't look weak. It showed that he was still normal Brock. He eliminated, the three mid carders, and then Bobby, who was also a former world champion, took him out.
Yeah, but I mean, I as much as I do like Lashley, and I wouldn't mind seeing them wrestle again. Like, do they do that at WrestleMania, or do they go with Gunther?
I think we're gonna get that done in Chamber. I don't think it's another. The juice has been kind of gone. I'm down to see it again, but like you just kind of said, I'm not really like Mania again. No, we've done it.
I'm down for Brock and Bobby at Mania if somehow Bobby gets the United States title back, because I would love to see Brock win like a mid card championship and just kind of see what he does with it.
Well, then hold on, Jacob. Go fight Gunther for the IC.
Yeah, but I'm kind of holding out hope for that triple threat now.
Oh man, yeah.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be an organic thing of Brock being like, "Listen, I've dominated everything. Screw it. I'm gonna work backwards now and go for the IC in the US at some point."
Because because he's but
It's probably one of my guilty pleasures, like just big meaty men match. We're talking about Brian, we talked about Brian and Vinny before. There's a clip on YouTube where they gush about there was a battle 4-man battle royal on ECW, the ECW one, featuring Kane, Big Daddy V, Mark Henry, and the Great Khali. And
that's right.
This match is going to be awful, and I'm going to love it. It's the way they gush
I
about
loved
it.
every minute of it. It was like 9 minutes or something like that.
I wish there's a couple newer guys too that could have been used, like a Bronson Reed or a Dexter Lumis.
I thought Bronson Reed was in it.
No, I don't think he was never on the list.
I thought he was meant to be in it, and then
Well, that's what I'm saying. I never saw him on the list. I don't think. We did play some Rumble Bingo. That was fun. I actually came last place during the men's Rumble, and then we all tied on the women's Rumble.
I mean, another thing that could have been cool, but I guess his injury kind of prevented that. It would have been cool to have like a mini DIY reunion. But Tommaso is probably
That would have been dope. Yeah. I thought maybe we'd see that Hurt Locker reunion, but I guess I don't know. We're still kind of working on that.
I'm a bit surprised Dexter Lumis wasn't in the Rumble.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Dexter and Bronson kind of surprised me because again, I felt like they could have used it more than like an Elias. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that should have been the spot. Or like I said, an NXT guy. That's my only qualms. I didn't love where they put Cody, and I didn't love the non surprises. Otherwise, it's definitely a thumbs up.
I thought maybe sometimes the angles, like the big storyline angles, sort of took away from the actual Rumble match because sometimes it was away from the match, like the edge thing. I mean, it was cool seeing Beth Phoenix, but they sort of built her. I'm like, oh, Beth Phoenix gonna be in the women's Rumble? She wasn't.
I thought she was, but
yeah.
I'm not surprised though. In retrospect, I'm like, well, I guess it's not going to be that much of a surprise.
Well, to me, it's more like, logically speaking, Beth Phoenix comes out in a ring gear just to spear Rhea on the stage and goes away for the rest of the night. Weird. I don't know.
I wouldn't call that ring gear. That was like workout gear.
Yeah, but she was wearing like a feathery thing on top and weird shit.
Yeah, she did. She got her did, but she didn't. That wasn't ring gear.
Well, I think this also gives Rhea something to do at because we know she's got the Mania match, but this gives her something to do at the next pay-per-view.
And that's a great way to put her because if you put Beth in the Rumble, either you obviously got to have her get eliminated by Rhea, which is going to kind of dampen the one-on-one. Like so, just save that one-on-one. So I kind of get it.
So what happens? We're getting a Edge and Beth versus Rhea and Dominic at the next.
Oh, they could just do that
at the next event.
Well, I was going to say, what do we do at the Elimination Chamber with the Chamber match then? What happens there?
I think from what I've heard, I don't know what, I'm not sure exactly, but from what I've read is that the Chamber match might be for the IC title.
I would love to see Gunther.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Gunther. Okay. Because I know the IC was not very good.
Those three.
Yeah, throw him, Drew in there, Sheamus in there, a couple other, Ricochet maybe.
Braun.
Yeah, Braun. A couple of those. Yeah. It's 6 kind of really upper mid card guys that have an elimination chamber.
Ricochet and Braun are a tag team.
So
so are Sheamus and Drew right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While
like,
also being part of the Brawling Brutes. Good on
And
Sheamus.
Sheamus legit saving Drew too. I was waiting for the fucking turn.
We talked
But,
about that, Jacob. That like
yeah.
tag teams should work together in a rumble.
Yeah,
They
you saw
should.
Braun and
Because
Ricochet saving
I
each
think it's
other.
stupid when they start killing each other in the middle of a rumble. You should
Yeah.
try to last as long as possible as a tag team. Then you fight if you're the last two. Then you
Yeah,
fight.
100%,
But
yeah.
like you should 100% do everything you can to save each other and to eliminate people together. Like 100% a tag team
Which
should
is
do that.
also why I think if you're gonna have tag teams in the Rumble, then the two tag teams should be in there at the same time. Like we didn't see the Street Profits.
No, that's not what I meant to do. Oh fuck.
We didn't see the Street Profits in the Rumble together. We didn't see Alpha Academy in the Rumble together. Like if you're gonna put tag teams, let them be in together. And do a
I
spot
do
together
wish
or
they had
something.
just straight up shown the Ray thing too. Go backstage, show Ray.
Well,
You know, instead of like the illusion.
if he was there, because from what I read, he might have been injured on SmackDown, and so who knows if he was even there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess because another idea I had, actually I think it was my brothers on the Steel, which is like again if you want to save a spot for someone else, NXT, Bronson, whoever, have Dominic like take Ray's spot. We've seen that happen before. You know,
I mean, yeah, we saw
Yeah,
the
but wasn't
one
Dominic announced for the Rumble?
where
none of the Judgment Night actually were Judgment Day. Judgment Night's
Drew Carey stole lowdown spot.
So lowdowns, Kurt Angle just straight up was like, "No, Nunzio, fuck you, I'm in."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they've done it before. Mabel,
Mick Foley laid out
Headbanger,
Test.
I think. Yeah, so like we've seen it happen before. Like you do a backstage thing where like Dominic's above his body and it's like, "No, what you're gonna do, Adam Pearce? You need an entrant. Fine, get out there, you piece of shit."
I was like, because it's like, yeah, like you meant, I do think people like and teams should team up and stuff. It's always owed to me in like the video games that they don't put a feature in there where they recognize that these people in the ring are teams, but you know, like so they don't go after each other. I mean, it would be kind
Maybe
of
they will in 2K23 available this March. It hits different. They're the sponsor.
Speaking of 2K, I think we've all mentioned that we kind of like the channel Dead Meat. They did a horror character Royal Rumble on their channel. That was pretty cool.
Did you see that they had to they filmed two of them, but they had to go with one because they accidentally put R-Truth in the other one?
I heard that like they kept it was crashing because apparently the game doesn't like when too many created characters.
I can see that. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It was from what I watched it like it was like 10 o'clock at night, so I was watching it in bed and I ended up falling asleep halfway through. But what I saw was really cool. And what's her name? Is it Chelsea? Like she put some time into creating the characters too. So I'd recommend.
Yeah, I figured you just downloaded them off the marketplace because you can do that now. But I guess those are all hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move on to anything else, like what I'm confused. What actually happened with the Kofi spot? Like did because I was trying. Michael Cole's trying to save it, going, but one of his feet's on the chair.
If you see it, he's hugging the chair still. So I think Cole did his job right. Of like, well, just in case that he does still stay in it. Like if Xavier lives to chair, so I don't know if they decided that like his feet did touch, or
that spot looked like
he might have hit his head.
He looked like he
I
hurt
think
himself.
I think it might have been like, let me think. No, I'm out because they never really officially say he's out. They say,
or he tried to get back up and maybe botched it in his other foot. So they were just like, we're just not going to do this out.
Yeah, because you never really see it. Like I remember, like I would try to look in the corner a couple times. Like, is he still there? Okay, and then like finally after two entrances, I was like, nah, they would have went back to him by now.
Was there a part of you that whenever you heard New Jay's music that one of them would be Big E?
Oh yeah, of course. I even said that out loud, like because we were playing the bingo. We were like, okay, the Xavier Kofi, because obviously we all hope that's gonna happen someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might be a Raw after Mania return. I don't know if he's.
It just depends on when he's available, man.
Yeah.
They could make it a Mania match, if he was not available now, but who knows?
As cool as it looks, I hope when he comes back, hopefully when he comes back, he stops doing that spear through the ropes because that's always been terrifying.
I feel like he's kind of gotta change.
That's always terrifying. I'm like, I like it, but
I've
hurt yourself. Okay.
I've thought of that exact same move before, and I can't see him taking that. In general now too. It happened in the Rumble with somebody. I don't know if it was Brock or who did it, but like somebody did that same exact move Ridge Holland did to Biggie, and I hate that move now because of that. And fucking belly to belly over the top.
we'll get into one person in the women's rumble that I hope she's all right. But I think Brock threw Santos Escobar out and he landed right on his face.
I think he hit his back on the apron, then landed on his face. That was worse.
Oh yeah, that was
because with me and Jay, oh god, because he hit his back first on the apron. I was like, oh yeah, that's not good.
One because we've been on the men's for like the entire show. I just have one trivia question. 2 people tied for the most eliminations with 5. Who were they?
Not many.
Yeah, nobody like went crazy with the eliminations. 2
Yeah,
people
which
tied
I'm
with
cool
5.
with.
And this is according to Wikipedia.
I'm gonna say Gunther. Right, we got some eliminations.
I'll say
Brock.
Drew.
No, Brock's 3. I know for sure.
Oh, Brock. Okay, so
Yeah.
Drew.
Is 1.
Drew, not Drew.
Not Drew.
Gunther's a safe bet.
Sheamus.
Sheamus actually only had 3.
No.
Cody?
It was Cody.
Oh, that makes sense.
Near the end? Okay, yeah, he was eliminating a couple people. Okay.
Yeah.
I like how in these rambles sometimes you forget people on the roster. You're like, when it's a surprise, oh yeah, he exists. Like that was my feeling when Omos came out. I'm like, oh.
Now, see, you just don't watch the show enough, I guess, because I knew he was still around, sadly.
Yeah.
And he was announced. Like, I knew he was in there.
Yeah, I know. I just forget about him because I don't know.
Yeah, I would have been fine with him getting replaced, too.
They needed to do the Braun spot, apparently. No, it's not going to.
Put Adam Pearce in the match or Petey Williams. That would have been fucking.
Why not? Yeah.
Even Kenny Dykstra. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no,
they're there anyway.
Was that bald Kenny Dykstra?
Yeah,
came out for a second. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now because I'm at the Brock getting pissed. He's eliminated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Pierce, Petey, Dykstra, and also Jason Cade from the Florida Indies. You know what I'm talking about, Paz?
Yeah. I work shows.
The fuck is Jason Cade? He got a job?
Speaking of Jason Cade, he used to come out to the All That theme.
Speaking of Jason Cade, he pulled some bullshit with me once, but I'll tell it off here.
Okay. Yeah, I did some shows with him.
Yeah.
I used to like him. Now he's on my shit list. I
don't have any personal problems with Jason Cade from any of my
I do,
dealings,
Jason. I hope you're watching.
But if JPO does, take it up with him.
You don't take the booking, then raise your price after you take the booking. All right, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they have like I mean, I know why they have wrestlers as agents, but like, do you reckon it's also so that like, hey, we need surprise for the Rumble. We got a few to choose from here. Kenny.
That's what I'm saying. They're there. They're saving a plane trip.
Yeah. But would anybody react if Petey Williams came out? I love Petey Williams, but
I know. Yeah. Well, that was my kind of fear with Jay White when people were saying that. I was like, is he worldwide enough? Like AJ had a TNA run on top of a New Japan run. Like, I don't know if Jay White would get the pop that they think he would.
He got a pretty good pop in AEW. So
that's also more of a smarkier crowd to a degree.
Yeah. The only one I thought was possible, but again, because his wife. So I thought maybe Zack Ryder.
Especially like, I mean, obviously it was the women's last, but I'm really surprised Green. If you had told me Green would be in it and not Cardona, I would have been very surprised. Which I guess I was surprised.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be both or just him, not just her.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So Raw tomorrow night, Cardona. Because think about it, Green's all pissed. Maybe Ryder comes in with her now because she's all pissed. I'm hoping anyway. Like I don't know if they confirmed or not that like obviously her and Jax are back unless that was a one-off.
Yeah.
No, we'll get into Nia Jackson a little bit.
Yeah.
Specifically her entrance. But
7.
Next we get into the sponsored match of the night.
Yeah, really sponsored.
Because apparently we needed this. Bray Wyatt defeating LA Knight in a pitch black match.
No, I'm sorry, a Mountain Dew pitch black match.
Yeah, don't forget. Right smack dab on the canvas.
They had to say it when they announced the match in a Mountain Dew pitch black match. That'd be funny. I want in the future somebody to randomly in a backstage segment make fun of this and challenge somebody to a Mountain Dew pitch black match.
10 years from now.
Yeah, be like you think somebody's gonna challenge somebody to like a Hell in a Cell, a cage match, or something like that. Mountain Dew pitch black match.
And they haven't sold pitch black in 10 years, probably.
You gotta have whatever those green things were all over the place.
Can't wait for Impact to have their Code Red Battle Royal this Wednesday.
You could hire Wayne and Garth to do a joke about product placement as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
complete
They
with
sell out. Oh,
high
complete
voltage.
with
Small.
announcers tables with internal confetti.
Yeah. Tell me more that this was all staged. Yeah, tell me a little bit more.
Confetti that white confetti that conveniently was neon green when it splattered all over the place. So,
I wonder when they must have pieced this together in time to go, hey, LA Knight, bright neon trunks, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, they knew what was up.
I remember thinking that. That's
He's a
really
former male model, so I mean, he knows about fashion.
Because I think he might have worn that color before, but I said in his entrance in my mind, I was like, hey, I've never seen those sights before.
I was like, I was thinking, that's very fortunate that he wore a glow in the dark fucking tights. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
And Bray looked kind of cool, but at the same time, this was I felt like I should be doing ecstasy while watching this match. It looked like a rave. It wasn't pitch black. It was a neon fight.
And then he pulls out the kendo stick, and it looks like a glow stick in a club.
Yeah.
Oh, once again, they obviously knew what they were doing because it had a fucking light portion to it.
I would have rather just had Bray in the Rumble.
Nearly an even 5 minutes. You want to point that out? 5:05 is what I clocked it at.
Wow.
I like the idea that
Wikipedia is on point then.
Hey, I agree.
I like the idea that every match now will just be one match of pay-per-view is just going to be sponsored. This Hell in a Cell match is sponsored by Burger King.
Man. And they double dipped down. If you notice, the Rumble clock or the nameplate was Applebee's, and during the bump it was Papa John's all night for an hour.
Well, it's always fun going back and watching episodes from 2000 because every other Raw was sponsored by Stridex, the acne pads, or that boom box, that one boom box they used to do over and over again. To pull up your room or whatever, or Skittles, or the motor oil,
it wasn't Monster. Oil. Who loved WWE for a minute there? It was 5 Hour Energy.
Stacker 2.
Stacker 2.
Stacker 2.
Thank you.
That Snickers was in there all the time.
Yeah.
I remember I think that there was one Raw that was sponsored by Skittles, and JR just gave it socks. He's like, fruity.
Another one people forget about too. There's one of the pay-per-views. I don't know if it was a pre-show or the main show where it was Pizza Hut endorsed, and I remember Gallows and Anderson were eating pizza outside while they were wrestling. It was stupidest thing too. So that's not the best.
So
we'll get a match sponsored by Blue Chew.
Yeah, MLW got it already, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Edge of Leader Sex Celebration, sponsored by Blue Chew.
So I guess we should say Bray Wyatt defeated LA Knight in 5 minutes in a match that was in black light. It was basically a street fight, and he won.
It
was
okay. We were laughing because I felt like I jinxed it because I literally was like, I'm glad LA Knight wasn't totally squashed, and then fucking hit Sister Abigail as soon as I said that. I was like, well. So
can I explain my beef with this match, and not so much the actual match, it was whatever, but the post match. So let's go through this logically. All right, so let's start with the end real quick. So the ending, and I'm going to work my way backwards. So the ending involved Uncle Howdy on top of some structure, ready to leap onto somebody, right? Okay, but to get there, you had to logically think that Bray Wyatt would win the match. So if LA won, would he just walk back to the back and he would just be stuck sitting up there all night? So Bray Wyatt wins. B, LA Knight powders to the ring with his kendo stick and Bray Wyatt following him. Bray Wyatt had to know that LA Knight would then jump across that specific side of the barrier to flee, then flee up that specific aisle, then climb that other specific structure. Then Bray Wyatt would have to stop him at that exact time, without LA Knight either laying him out or just running faster away to another location. And Bray Wyatt exactly lays him out at the perfect time for Uncle Howdy to just appear and jump on a spot that magically was rigged with pyro.
And he still messed it up. He
overshot him by a mile.
Well, because it's a cool looking move. Yeah, I know. And from the same angle too. I'm like, stop it. It's a cool looking move on paper. Yeah, it's hard to tell where the fuck you're going.
Bray Wyatt, the master manipulator, as much as the Joker and Jigsaw from the Saw movies, and anticipating every person's move and what they're going to do.
I was about to say it's like a bad horror movie where you sit back and go, "Wait a minute, how did he know he'd be in that room at that point at that exact time?"
Well, and every time you see a horror movie where somebody dangles out of a tree, how did you know that person was going to be walking by that tree at that exact moment for them to fall and dangle out of a tree for the jump scare? Yeah, no.
definitely.
it was horror movie nonsense. I think this would work better as some pre-taped thing. Honestly, I know they do those goofy ass pre-taped things, but that probably would have been better. Just logically, I understand it's wrestling. There's unlogical shit all the time, but that was that. I was even watching this, just going like, now how the fuck did he know he was going to go across that barrier over to that thing, and he was going to stop him just in time, and and go this way and that way, and catch him just like I just thought it was silly.
Yeah.
Like it's all just silly.
I feel they get too fancy pants with Bray Wyatt matches. I don't know. I understand the horror element thing, but it just doesn't work sometimes. Like that brief time where like every time the Fiend had a match, it was like a red light, and it actually took away from the match.
No, this was kind of what I thought it might be. I said this is going to be Sin Cara, but different. That's all this was that. Think about it. It wasn't even like no DQ. They didn't really even do any no DQ stuff. It was just simply weird lights.
Yeah, and then the kendo stick at the end for like
the
last 30 seconds.
Yeah,
that's true. There was a kendo stick. That's true.
If you know you're facing Bray Wyatt and he's a monster and he doesn't sell anything, and you know it's no DQ, you immediately go for a weapon. 100%, I would go for some kind of steel chair or chain or lead pipe immediately to try to win this match. And then it just. It's like, but no, let me put you in a wrist lock or whatever the fuck he did at the beginning of this match. Like, I just think that's really silly. Again, logically speaking, whatever. And I get that it has to end in the ring, so that's fine. But if you're going to do a match like that, have it be false count anywhere, and the finish end over there with the Uncle Howdy guy jumping on top of him, and then you pin him way out there. I think that would have maybe been at least a little bit better if it was like a false count anywhere situation and would have just ended there.
Yeah.
So
just similar to the next match. I don't think it's the drizzling shits, but it definitely didn't do much for me.
I think I said that. But yeah,
that's fine if you do. I'm not going to fight you.
I know. I think there's this all. I mean, I don't think it's his fault, but there's this thing. Even Seth Rollins admitted it in an interview that there's this thing like where people get paired with Bray Wyatt, and for some reason they out of the feud, even though it should be a big thing because Bray Wyatt and he's a big star. But when they come out of the feud, they come off worst off. After the Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins basically had to turn heel. He was kidding. So it was,
that was one of the best Brian Vinny videos ever. By the way, it's like an 8-minute thing where he's just ranting about that Hell in a Cell finish for that match where he's like, apparently he didn't get disqualified for a giant hammer, but a smaller hammer is way worse, and we disqualify you for that, but not the oversized carnival.
Brian laughed so hard he fell off the chair.
Yeah, just so bad. Yeah.
Anyway, also, that was the thing that happened.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Mountain Dew Pitch Black, so let's move on.
Although Cody in the press conference did say it was delicious, so
I haven't tried it yet. I can't attest to that.
I have not tried it either.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
I just like someone to be honest. Like maybe it would be funny if they're just like. Yeah, didn't care. It's like, oh, did you try that Mountain Dew? Oh, it tastes like us.
I'd be like, no, it's like my 7th favorite Mountain
Dew. I don't think the commentators actually drink anything that they're given.
You can't because you would have to piss halfway through. Soda goes right through me. I would have to piss an hour later. And if you notice, anytime they have a drink on there, it's still full at the end of the night. It's literally just.
No, I just saw Booker T got in trouble with Vince because I think his first time out commentating, he has to go pee because he's like, no one told me I couldn't piss all night.
And especially now, you got a 3.5-hour pay-per-view. I understand you sip on some water or something, but water is not going to make you piss necessarily. But yeah, if you drink a soda or an energy drink during a show, you are going to have to go piss. I
think they said Cole and everyone suggests don't drink shit for 3 hours,
or just drink a 5-hour energy shot, like something small that's not going to make you piss. That's probably what they do. I don't
know about y'all, man. I don't know. I'm definitely an every couple hours peer. So I don't know if I guess I'll never get a job.
I watched this Brian again. We're putting them out today, but it was Brian. And
I love Brian.
It was the same episode where with the infamous you got counted out of anywhere. Out of nowhere. But it's the thing where there's a storyline where. David Flair is stalking Kimberly Page
with a crowbar.
And David Flair looks like he's about to he cornered her in a room, and it looks like he's about to murder her or whatever. And then they cut back to the announcers and they briefly mention it, and then they just plug an energy drink that Goldberg's because they didn't care that Kimberly Page is about to get murdered.
Yeah. No, and she doesn't call the police. She doesn't find event security. She just runs around the arena with this dude trying to kill her with a crowbar. Yeah, the only time he gets stopped is when she runs to find like Vince Russo or Jeff Jarrett, and he's only stopped because the Harris brothers are outside as like Jarrett's security. That's the only reason he doesn't go in, because those are two big scary dudes. So yeah, no, you don't call security, you don't call police. Yeah, wrestling's weird sometimes.
Professional wrestling, the only place where attempted murder is legal.
And murder is legal apparently on some,
Yeah, and Impact Underground. No, they straight up murder you.
Yeah, Impact Wrestling. Or Impact Wrestling. Eric Young.
Yeah.
Murder a couple weeks, and Cody Deaner was on TV the next week.
Or the time Kevin Nash and those guys like buried Ric Flair in the desert on WCW at some point in like 1999, just left him in the desert, buried 6 feet under apparently or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or the amount of times they throw somebody in a river.
Yeah.
James Storm once pushed Mickey James in front of a train.
Oh, I didn't remember that. Damn.
Wrestling's very weird sometimes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So our next match was Bianca Belair defeating Alexa Bliss to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Nice little back and forth, but ultimately Bianca Belair got the win because she's not losing the title until WrestleMania.
I'm sorry, this was a complete nothing happened in 7 minutes of television.
Yeah.
Sorry.
7:32, sir.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know the time, but that's what it felt like. That's what it was.
Yeah, you were spot on. 30 seconds.
and all it was the video at the end. That's literally the whole thing of this match. There was nothing to it whatsoever. Nothing.
The only note I had was what a nothing burger of a match to set up an angle at the end.
Yeah, that's it.
This is again like Jacob kind of alluded. I don't hate it, but yeah, this very much felt like this could have been on Raw. This rematch, because first of all, 8 minutes, it's never kicks into second gear. It's just okay, and then all we get is that video package with him saying shit he said the last week on Raw. This was. The Rumble had some surprises, even the men's. Like, you know what I mean? You don't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know exactly what's going to happen with the women's, with the Sami Zayn segment. And then no one knew exactly what a pitch black match was. This was verbatim, I think, what me and almost everyone else just assumed it would be. You know, a little back and forth. Champion wins cleanly. Alexa gets some more spooky shit said to her. The end. Verbatim exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is not great.
And as a result, the crowd didn't give a fuck.
And nor should they have. Like, I wouldn't have cared either. Like, what was there to be excited about? We sometimes complain about crowds, but we complain about crowds, I feel like, if there was something good and they weren't responding. But if this one, there was nothing to. Why should they be excited? Like, they knew exactly what was going to happen. There was no reason to care, and it was 7 minutes. Like, I mean, what was what it was? At least the pitch black thing, you didn't know what it was, so you didn't know what they were going to do, and so at least they were doing something. It was
even if you don't love it, like at least it was something was happening.
Something to watch. Yeah, you're interested in where it's going.
Engaged in a good or a bad way. This was just like
this is a Raw match. This is a Raw match.
This rematch should have been a Raw.
If we do the year-end things, you know, in the year, I'm going to forget this match even happened. I'm like,
that's what I mean.
Who are the tag team champions right now?
The women's tag champions, Damage Control.
Okay. Could you have them and the Street Profits just have a tag team match instead?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best, but something. You could have done something.
Or what I mean is have them fight something, take them out of the Rumble, have a tag team match instead of like this, and just had a few more surprises in the Rumble. You know?
Oh, the men's? It's the Usos. And so
the Usos are the tag. I guess the Usos had to be in that angle.
I know they had to be in the angle, but like I just mean some other match besides this that maybe could have.
No, I feel
You know, I don't know. Just do something.
It's just interesting. Or like it's interesting that they. I mean, again, the other angle they're building towards with the women is like Sonya Deville and Charlotte, which they're just doing on SmackDown. Like, why couldn't you just do this one on Raw? If they know that it's going to be this one on Smack, I don't know. Yeah. Like you can you can just use your TV time to break off feuds. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like obviously that Charlotte and Sonya Deville are in a mini feud, but they're not going to. Hey, we're going to do this on Raw. I mean, we're going to do this on Royal Rumble. We're going to, we'll do this on the SmackDown.
Well, that I'm not with you. Yeah, no, that's a TV feud. That is the epitome of a TV feud.
Yeah.
Sonya Deville.
Sometimes they do like things that you should be a TV feud on paper.
Oh no, I know. Well, that's what this was. The
Yeah.
first match was on TV. You'd think the second match is going to be better and longer, and it's not. And with this, it's with the same shit too. Like nothing really advanced here. Like he didn't come out and kidnap her. She didn't put on a weird mask. Like she literally.
If you were
going to
do Uncle Howdy thing, do it in this match, and it would have made it memorable. Or do something. Where
have
maybe...
her join the 5 characters. At least advance it. This felt like nothing has advanced at all here. She is exactly where she was last week.
Well, and we've touched on it before, and I mean, I like her a lot and everything, but I'm kind of with you now. I'm kind of getting over Bianca Belair. I'm getting a bit bored. Getting a bit bored. She's good. She's really talented. But it's like I don't like what direction are you going in? I don't understand. Like I think
they're just buying time until Rhea Ripley faces her at WrestleMania.
Until Mommy gets her.
Yeah, I mean that's
they're gonna build up
the answer. Yeah,
they're gonna build up she's almost at a year-long title reign.
Sure, I don't know.
And they're just waiting to take it off for WrestleMania for Rhea. That's
I
really
feel
it.
like she's like I feel like she's
Speaking of Rhea,
anyway.
Yeah,
Rhea is your number one entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble, Richie. And wins.
I knew I should have shuffled that wheel one more time.
You should have.
Thanks, Mommy.
Yeah, because number one was I wrote them all down. The number one was the last number you got, Richie. So, but no, Rhea and Liv enter number one, and they go the distance with Rhea coming out on top. So, I think a really good women's Rumble. And what I like about this one is the first thing that came to my mind was, other than Chelsea Green, no one lasted less than a minute. Like everyone, I mean, you have Nia Jax, whose entrance got botched because they played her music and then started the countdown.
Well, B-Fab's another minute, but she also barely wrestles, and she at least got shit in. Like that's kind of what I was saying with the men's that I did like, is that like even Dana Brooke looked good for a minute. Roxy Perez looked really good for a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? So like everyone kind of looked good for the most part outside of Chelsea.
Can I make a confession? There was at least 6 or 7 women in this match. I had no idea who the fuck they were.
Well, that's just, I went like that's not a bad thing.
Xia Li or whatever. I don't know who that is. B-Fab. I don't know who that is. Roxanne, whatever. Rodriguez or whatever.
Xia Li's had.
I don't know who that is. Like there were so many people that I was like, I don't know who that person is. So,
that's not a bad thing, though.
Well, it's just one of those things because I don't watch week to week. I just watch occasionally, and like there's always somebody in the Rumble. It's just like, I don't know who that is. Sorry.
But that's gonna happen. That's not, that's gonna happen.
To be fair, they don't really use Xia Li that much.
They did a great hype thing for her. They had great cartoon packages and a backstory. And
who was it that they came out and they were like, speaking of her, she happens to be dressing up like a character from Street Fighter 6.
Selena
Vega.
That was weird.
Who apparently is now out because of a ruptured implant.
She took a nasty. She's the one that got.
She was the one I was going to mention. It was
Lacey and then dumped her from the top rope. So I'm not surprised. She's got implants. Okay.
What was that? Was that like was it who did you say? It was it Piper Niven?
Lacey.
Piper Niven came back.
She took a really bad. It's not the first time she's taken a bad bump in a battle royal. I remember a few years ago at that Evolution pay-per-view, Nia Jax had her up in the and she threw her, and then Zelina Vega right face. So I don't know, no good night, but that was that was bad. That was pretty.
So this one's just a little over an hour and 1 minute, 8 seconds. We also have Natalya for the first time in a while. Chelsea Green's return. I thought it was Tamina's return, but my brother informs me she's on main event.
Was it like a return of Asuka for some reason? Because they made a big deal out of she came
Asuka, and it was her debut of her like Japan character. She's like a great
awesome.
Muda. She's got like an alternate identity.
Yeah.
So as soon as she came out with that, whatever that mask
was it a big deal about Piper Niven being Piper Niven because she's not Doudrop anymore? Was that like
100%? Yeah.
McAfee said Piper Niven so many times.
Yeah, they really hammered that in during the thing. Piper Niven.
And also Pat McAfee. don't know if Piper Niven and Tamina is a dream match. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Did he say that? I missed that.
He
Oh.
did.
But
Yeah.
no, I'm absolutely happy to see her get her name. Like, I'm not the guy that, like, I don't really care if Gunther ever becomes Walter again, because I feel like they're both just first names, and Gunther's been established and is a champion, so that boat has sailed. He's Gunther. I'm cool with it. But yeah, Doudrop had to fucking go. Like, you're never gonna say in your new
Well,
world
and
champion
the
Doudrop.
Nikki ASH thing was stupid too.
Yeah, luckily that was short lived, and she had a good showing. She made it to the final four. Nikki, Asuka, Liv, and Rhea are your final four.
I also
And
I liked.
speaking of Nikki, did Michael Cole drop like a sanity hint? Is Eric Young coming back? Like, he dropped sanity, and I'm like, is that
She came out to Sanity music. She's got the Sanity jacket. She's acting like Sanity Nikki. Eric Young quit Impact. The writing's on the wall.
He's
that
dead.
it's quite
He's
possible.
dead. He died.
It's sorry.
got
Well,
murdered. He got
when
murdered.
when you die, you quit, right? I don't know. That's how I'm looking at it. So possible there. Also, shout out to Indy Hartwell. Cool seeing her in there. Zoe Stark from NXT.
Good
Getting the
Australia
shots. I did actually enjoy the Michelle McCool thing because I was like, oh, I guess she won't be in it, and then they fucking were like, played her music. All right, get in there.
She played that so well too. She was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't get a call. No, I'll be there."
Even there's a YouTube post interview where she's like, "I didn't know what was up. They put my music on. I guess they calling me out. All right, what am I gonna do? I'm with my daughter. I'm not gonna back down in front of my daughter."
She's wearing UGG boots.
I did enjoy that thing. Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit, she's just rocking some Uggs." And Raquel Rodriguez is also number 5 Texas girl getting an okay showing. So,
yeah, I did like going back to the Piper Niven thing. They also meant to Michael Cole was like, "Oh, this woman's a real viper." I'm like, because she was called Viper.
Yeah,
she was a viper on the Indies as well. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's a cute thing." And yeah, she looked pretty good. I hope that I hope that she gets a decent push from here on out. She's really good.
No, for sure. And I thought she looked really good too. She definitely had some good moments too in her entrance and her first few minutes there. Overall, again, I do give this a thumbs up. It checked off the boxes as far as entrance wise. You have your NXTs, you have your straight up returns even here, as well as like a legend-ish and Michelle McCool.
She'll get in the Hall of Fame eventually. She's probably getting next year.
I'm fine. Yeah, they fucking probably will. I'm fine with the final 4. I'm fine with the final 2 here. I'm glad Ronda wasn't in it and like dominated. That was a happy moment for me. Again, it's very similar to Cody. I wouldn't have booked again to have number 1 go the distance. I thought that was weird. Or in this case, I thought that was weird.
They always went the distance, yeah.
I thought that was a weird double booking of like, we're going to just, again, make the number 1 look strong again. Because as soon as she came out to number 1, I actually very cockily was like, well, she's not winning. Like, there's no way they're going to just do that shit again. They did. But the right person won, I think. You could argue predictable for both her and Cody. But if predictable, at least it's kind
predictable
of what I
wins me prediction game. So what? Why not?
Yeah. Well, what's this all, man? And
and maybe predictable means they have a plan at least through Mania. So
they have a plan, and Cody and Rhea deserve it too.
Yeah,
it's not a plan that I'm against because it's not like them shoving Batista down my throat or whoever I don't want. I want these two there. So overall, good. Some sloppiness, but
and Rhea and Bianca, I think it was meant to happen at Money in the Bank last year, but then Rhea had some health things, so it was good to run it back. And ever since then, Rhea got more over it. I think she's actually leveled up the Judgment Day, which were kind of a joke of a faction. I think her and Dominic chemistry kind of elevated them to like I'm like, oh, I actually don't mind seeing them on TV now. I think the right people won. It was all good.
My biggest anger, though, I don't get the Chelsea Green thing.
I'm going to explain that.
You didn't want her to get injured again, Jordan.
No. I think that what I read that they're going to make her like a Karen character, where she gets angry all the time. Sort of like a similar character to where she was an Impact, which is Laurel Van Ness, where she was like the jilted bride thing. They're sort of going to do that, where like she things will happen and she'll just get more pissed off, and then it was like you could kind of see shades of it. So I think at least I was shocked that they did it. I felt bad, but at least there is a direction there. I don't know if it will work.
No, like I said, I'll hold out some hope because I'm glad she's back. She was a little injury prone, and that's why Vince kind of gave up on her. But I think she's extremely talented. Like I remember, she was originally a Florida girl, and just hearing like her first this chick's got it. What I mean? Like she's been good since day one. So
People forget she was on
hopefully
Tough Enough.
Yeah. I
It was
forget.
she's one of the ones that didn't really do much on Tough Enough. And then, like, she was one of the better wrestlers. But that usually happens.
So, you guys want to know an interesting fact about damage control in the Women's Rumble?
What's that, bud?
They each had 5 eliminations.
Oh.
4 were all 3 of them, and they each had 1 single elimination. Dakota Kai eliminates Emma. Bailey eliminates Becky Lynch, and Io eliminated Candice LeRae. So I thought that was pretty cool that they actually used them as a team. And yeah, I mean, we're pushing forward that Becky Bailey storyline because we didn't really get the steel cage match. So
which is bullshit in my opinion. But.
Yeah. I think it was like a time thing, but they spent so much time going. Oh, this is only the second cage match on Raw in 17 years. Like, oh, cool, and then they just don't do it.
And also with time, do we really need a 19th DX reunion?
Yeah,
I get they're cool and they run the show, but at the same time, it's like
it was. I also always look at it from the perspective of like, man, if I had bought tickets at that event, I'd be pissed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the most intriguing match. Bobby and Austin, we've seen it before. I'm not knocking it, but we've seen it. And like the fact that like, oh, I get a cage match with 2 of the top female, wrestlers. Like, yeah, I think it was a very shitty swerve.
Yeah.
Could you not just knocked out like Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville had like a squash match thing? Just get rid of that. Like, you don't need. There's some things you didn't need on the show to make room for that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Can we transition to things we don't need on the show and talk about Hardy?
Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry. I just want to.
I was going to skip right over that.
No. I want to talk about that.
What are you guys talking about?
The Hardy performance.
The band. Yeah, I skipped it. I saw a band.
Oh man.
Yeah, I messaged him like halfway through. I was like, Austin, you can skip the Hardy.
Oh no, I was fast forwarding to try to I also got confused. I went back and watched the replay, right? And I'm going through the thing, and the Royal Rumble starts, and then I looked down at the ticker because I had to bail and skip ahead to the I was watching the show, had to bail, come back to the Roman Reigns thing, start the Roman Reigns match, and there's an hour and a half left on the ticker, and I go, are they going an hour and a half? What the fuck is going on? But no, in the replay, they included the press conference thing at the end. That was like an hour. And I got really confused. I was like, was that show 5 hours last night?
Yeah, I was
there was only 5 matches. I was really confused.
Yeah, because I was only 5 hours and 8 minutes. I don't remember it being that long. It was like 4+.
Yeah, but no, the band. Yeah, I saw a band in the ring, and I skipped that. So I
that song is so much better. Just the studio version, the live version.
We'll get. I'll get to. I just want to make a point about the Women's Rumble. I think that like there's sort of apparent on this one that like fans are now know they condition that like there's a big chunk in the middle of the Royal Rumble that nothing happens. So they'll look at the action and go, oh yeah, cool, that's cool. And then like, 10, 9, 8, 7. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And then like it was really apparent in the women's matches in the Rumble that there weren't like a lot of big stars. So like, oh, cool, it's good to see you. Oh, Becky's dead, yeah. Back to being dead. Oh, Bailey, yeah. It's just like it was very. I don't know. I felt bad for someone because they haven't been built up. Like I love Candice LeRae. She got no reaction when she came out, unfortunately.
I mean, to be fair, that's like every Rumble. I mean, I was like rewatching like a 2009 or 2010 one, and it's like Yoshi Tatsu's music hits and nobody gives a shit. 2004, like Kenzo Suzuki comes out, nobody gives a fuck. There's always going to be those mid-card people that like nobody gives a shit about when they come out. Like it is what it is. But it's at least back then they all had distinct music. Everybody has the same music now. I can't tell
the music's not that great
from another. I cannot tell one song from another. It's all generic shit. There's no distinct music anymore. At least when I go back and watch the older ones, I know who's coming out based on the music. I can just hear it, and I know. Like I can't tell one person from another's music anymore. I think it's so bland. Everybody just has nothing going on. Like they need Jim Johnston back bad, to make some cool themes again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought CFOs were doing pretty well, but then they broke up and shit. I don't know what happened. But yeah, like their music is cool. But yeah, the music now is not doing anything for me. But yeah, I mean, we'll say we're going to talk about the Hardys. There's not much to talk about. It was a really bad live performance. It made there's a performance by who Down Straight, who does Cody's theme like at Revolution once, and that was bad. That makes this one look really good. That makes that look really good. I mean, he might be a nice guy, but he looks like it looks like they couldn't afford Kid Rock. So like, Kid Rock was
I loved in our little chat, like we were all just kind of saying the same thing, just a minute apart. You know, I mean, like I forgot who said it. Jacob was like, "It's not a very good live performance." I was like, "Yeah, this song's not good live, is it?" And we both organically said that like at the same time. And
yeah,
we
and
both
I'm like,
you were making Kid Rock
he
jokes.
looks like a chubby Chris Rock. Like he looks
He
like
does,
a
Kid
Chris
Rock.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock.
Yeah, like I'll just make the same thing. Yeah, it wasn't. The dude's voice is kind of weak live. The song's fine, but again, and also too, I remember I said to my brother, he made a good point. I said this could have been a match. He said this also could have just been cut. Like we could have wrapped shit up quicker. You know, and I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it
the
too.
show itself does not need to be 3.5 hours. You could have cut that and some
Yeah.
other little things, made it like roughly around 3 hours or 3:10 or something, and made it a little shorter. Yeah.
My question is like, who is this for? Is this the deal they
Yeah.
made to get his song? Then
I
get
don't
someone
know whether
else's song.
there was a deal with it's like a deal with like okay, you can have a song better perform live, but they've done this a few times at the Royal Rumble. I remember I think it was the Rumble they did it like with like a few years ago with Kevin Rudolph, and it was very awkward and cringy because they had the announcers try to sing like try to lip sync it, and Michael. That was when
Pat McAfee was into it.
They had Michael Colby really weird, and it was just it was not good, and I don't know, like it was again, it's not a good live performance. You could literally when he had finished, you could hear boos.
Oh yeah. Just don't turn the sound on so we get copyrighted.
Oh.
I like Ricky Stell too. His Stell is very much wide-eyed, like I'm out.
Yeah.
And then Michael Cole completely forgets that Logan Paul's still in the match.
Yeah,
Which I think was not on purpose. I think that's a very like to swerve the fans too. Except Logan Paul was on hard cam. He
I reckon if Vince was booking the match, even though I wouldn't hate it, I reckon if Vince was booking the match, the final two would be Cody and Logan Paul, and I wouldn't be confident that Cody wouldn't lose.
Yeah, but I'm with JPO. I miss those old Rumbles where they would have the backstage segments of people like picking their numbers and shit, and have some like little things leading up to it. I miss stuff like that.
They did it twice on the kickoff, but it was very janky. They had like magnets with like little envelopes.
Yeah, they had
the wheel.
They had that little envelopes on a thing where you just pick.
No, you gotta bring the bingo wheel.
Yeah,
I like the bingo wheel. And they really did it like they did
and
like
here's
twice.
the thing.
I feel like we saw Zelina and someone, and then like
I feel like you're missing an opportunity. You could have had Logan. Here's the thing: way you could have had a fun way to have Logan Paul like get into the Rumble. Have him buy his way into the Royal Rumble with all his money. Maybe he bribes somebody to take their number at the Royal Rumble with that stupid Pokemon card around his neck or some shit, or like something. He just hands him a big stack.
That would be funny. Yeah, if he was like, "Hey, Riddick Moss," and he takes off the Pokemon card.
Give me your number. He looks at the number. Okay, give me that for the and then that's how he enters the Rumble. Like, I feel like you could do fun things with people's characters, like with that like we were talking about. That Eddie Guerrero thing is one of those fun things when he tries to steal Ric Flair's number. Like it was so much fun, like things like that, or just have Christian and John Cena have a thing so that when they come out, then they have a little scrum. Like you could do little things to set up spots in the Rumble. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that.
They're missing stuff like that.
Capitalize on people's actual personalities and nerdy.
Yeah, use their characters towards the Rumble.
I was just thinking about like the Pokemon card thing. Having Xavier Woods come out later, and he's the type of guy that would be like, "Oh, cool Pokemon card," because he's kind of a nerdy dude.
Yeah, and he just takes his spot in the Rumble. You know what I mean? Because why not? Like it's fine, and it could be somebody who you're not thinking that person's who they take the place of is going to win the Rumble anyways. So who gives a shit? Like whatever. Yeah, I just there's ways you could do some fun things to kind of get a buzz going. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Also, the one real weird note to me. This is my weirdness. On the kickoff, the graphic had Riddick Moss on the Rumble. He's the only one that wasn't in the Rumble. So I don't know if that's a swerve or if they just at the last second like, oh shit, no, let's put him.
Yeah,
instead.
so why don't you
Swerve
have
wasn't in the
Logan
Rumble
Paul
either.
take Riddick Moss's place and bribe him with a stack of money and be like, man, this Prime drink is really, or he can even plug his Prime thing. Be like, man, all that money I'm making on Prime Energy is really paying off. Here you go, Riddick Moss. I'm taking your spot in the Rumble. Like, get your plug in and play with this asshole character, and do something with it. Like, have a little fun.
What'd you say, Jacob?
I said Swerve wasn't in the Rumble either.
Oh, shut up. I'm mad I went back to ask you.
Yeah, I was like, he's not gonna like this. But yeah, Hardy performed. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And
That
then
made the night longer.
what do you? Yeah,
There was like a clip of like early on, like early on when they were kind of building up like Hardy's forms, and and then you had the crowd chanting Hardy, Hardy. I'm like, I know it's probably at a concert, but did they superimpose like chants from Jeff Hardy, like for Jeff Hardy,
Oh,
and
100%.
and include them in this?
Not surprised. So when I had to go away and I had to come back to the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns thing, we could transition to that match with this. Kevin Owens comes out and then I had to leave, right? So then I rewind and when I stopped, it just happened to be when they pretty much rang the bell, right? So I didn't see it, but did Roman Reigns take an hour to get to the ring?
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny because I always watch Raw and SmackDown on a delay because that way I can not watch commercials on my Xfinity.
Yeah.
And I swear when Roman opens up SmackDown, I'm just hitting the 30-second chapter skip, and it's good. It gets to about minute 6 by the time he's in the fucking ring and saying something.
Yeah.
Like I save a good chunk on SmackDown.
Right. I saw the length of that ramp, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back and watch his entrance because I know it took forever.
That's true. Yeah.
I saw that length of that ramp, and I remembered. I think it was last year, the year before, where like they literally had like the bigger guys come down like on a cart. there was like I remember
we had pizzas. Roman's entrance was my grab more pizza break. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So there you go.
Yeah, no, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, it was exactly what I thought it would be, which isn't a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what I thought it would
I got
be.
a 1912, a little over 19 minutes.
Yeah. Kevin Owens, there were moments where he's like, oh, maybe they're going to give it to him. But he also still good false finishes. But Roman Reigns ultimately retains in what I thought was the best singles match of the night. I mean, it doesn't have much competition.
What? Yeah, no, like
Really?
this night that's not saying much. You're saying it's better than a 5-minute Mountain Dew match, and then the 8-minute could have been on Raw match. So yeah, and this was not bad. This was pay-per-view worthy to a degree. They have good chemistry, good falls.
story.
And I swear the post-match stuff was longer than the other two matches
Combined.
Combined.
Yeah, it had to be.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure the super kick sequence when they were super kicking Kevin Owens by his handcuffs was longer than Bianca's match. I can swear. I'm 100% convinced of that. But
and more thrilling. Had me on the edge of my seat more than the entire match.
Well, Jacob and I said the same thing. We were like, well, if the men's rumble is starting, they must have something really big planned for the main event. Like either some post-match thing, something big with Sammy, or The Rock or Stone Cold getting involved somehow. We said
that's exactly what I said to my brother.
It was one of those things. It had to be something big. And it's funny because if you go back and watch it like I did, since I knew what was going to happen, I'd heard it was mostly a post-match angle thing, whatever. When Roman wins, and the thing, I see people in the audience leaving. I feel bad for those people who walked out to the damn parking lot and missed the whole angle. Like you had to feel
left.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
That's always the fight me if I ever went to wrestling shows with my dad. My dad's like, "Bell ring, let's leave." And I'm like, "No, shit might go down."
You never leave until you hear the ring announcer say, "Thank you for coming. Please wear your seatbelts. Drive safe." You never leave until you hear that ever. That's your cue that nothing else is going to happen on the show.
But
because I like you said, I knew once you kind of because the lineup also got reported too that it was going to definitely be Owens and Kev, or Owens and Reigns, and I was like, okay, we're getting The Rock, or we're definitely getting like a real jump into Sammy. Yeah, it's one of the two. That's going to. The Rock is just going to end with Roman wins. Good night.
I think this is like one of the. Honestly, I think it's one of the best booked storylines in wrestling at the moment. I think the way they built it up was fantastic.
And I give a lot of credit. A swerve I did not see coming. Not Shane. Which Uso is the one that left? Jimmy or Jay?
It's Jay.
I didn't see that coming. That's an
Yeah.
interesting turn in this
Yeah,
story.
that
is that
confused me.
Jay is like, I'm not into this, man. Like, I love Sammy now. I'm not gonna join in on the beating of him. Very interesting swerve.
Yeah,
Which
but
makes me wonder, like, are they putting? Because we all were like, yeah, it's going to be Sammy and Kevin
tag
taking
titles.
the titles off the Usos, and now
and now
is
it's
that the
like,
plan?
oh,
it's kind of it's an interesting
I
wrinkle
don't
in the
know.
story.
So it definitely does what it's supposed to do, which is makes me intrigued to see the follow up. What's up on Raw now? What's up on SmackDown? So
and like it's an interesting wrinkle, like it's built up so well because I mean, I had it like this crowd was alright sometimes, but sometimes they're a bit dead. But like when Sammy eventually hit Roman Reigns, that crowd went ballistic. I was like, okay, this is going very well. Like,
three times too. It was great.
Yeah, just like how they built it up, because it was like obviously reminiscent of the Shield when Seth Rollins hit him. I'm just like, oh, this is amazing.
Well, you could do something with Jay where maybe he temporarily joins up with Kevin and Sammy for an Elimination Chamber 3-on-3 sort of thing, right? And then he eventually, at the end of that thing, goes back with the Bloodline, and they still have the tag match at WrestleMania.
Sure.
You could do something, but at least it gives it a wrinkle of something for people to kind of wonder what it was. Yeah, they want to hear from him on Raw or whatever.
I don't like this.
Something.
Just shove him off. Why would you bring him back in?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, logic in wrestling is weird sometimes.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why
did you do that? Because the match would end.
Turnbuckle to begin with.
Well, we talked about the same thing, Jacob. If Gunther really wanted to pull something, I'm pretty sure he could overpower Cody and chuck that fucker out of the ring and just win the Royal Rumble. Like Vinny says, shoot win a Rumble. Like Vinny says, he could shoot win it if he wanted to. And what are you going to do then? He won the Royal Rumble. I'm just going to make something for myself. But then again, you wouldn't have a job later. I get it. But, at the same time, what are you going to do?
Gunther was in a bit of an accident. We got to strip him of the title, and then the runner-up gets the title shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, Sammy made the turn. That was fun. But the Jay thing is a nice little wrinkle just to keep the question marks going. So that can be fun.
Definitely good to Raw.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, that was a good wrinkle. Yeah, and because like I think Jay sees a lot in what Sammy's going through, because like obviously the storyline was like Jay was treated like gouged by Roman, and eventually kind of just learnt to accept it. But and I think maybe he's kind of getting almost PTSD from it. Okay.
No, they can explain it like that. He's got PTSD from what happened to him, so and he doesn't want to see that happen to somebody else who or at least like maybe deserves, a little bit of a beating, but not like getting handcuffed and getting super kicked 90 times over and over again. You know what I mean? Like that. It reminded me of some of the ECW angles used to do where they would string up somebody and I think they did it to Raven one time and you got kendo sticked over and over again, like by the entranceway or something like that. They did the Tommy Dreamer thing where he got kendo sticked by Sandman 10 times, in the Singapore Cane match, shit like that. So, it's one of those things where it was a fun angle. But I mean, feel bad for anybody who either shut it off or left the arena right after the bell rang. Because you missed.
I'm sure there's a chance. There always is. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm very, very curious to see where the Bloodline angle is going now.
I know. I like that the pay-per-views are now on. It'll be Saturday for you, like Saturday, because then you get a day. You get like 1 day before of rest before Raw. I feel like sometimes. Just when it's on Sunday, and then there's Raw. Like I like a little buffer.
Well, it's more about that, and there's football right now, playoff football on Sundays, and they don't want to compete with that. So
I also money on the 49ers today. Damn it!
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
I picked them to win too.
Yeah, Eagles put that squash match on them. It was not good.
Yeah, well, it helps when you have to rely on your fourth quarterback of the season for part of the game too. But it looks like the
at least the other championship game is tied right now, so they're actually having the marathon. There you go. Anyways, sorry, this isn't the football podcast. This is the wrestling podcast.
Overall, I enjoyed the show. I think the men's Rumble was definitely my favorite match, probably just because of how strong Gunther ended up looking. I think he was the MVP of the night for sure. He and Rhea both. We didn't even mention Rhea had 7 eliminations also, so she looked really strong.
Yes.
So at least Bianca still has that record because she
Yeah.
eliminated 8 in one
So
Rumble.
I mean,
go ahead,
yeah.
Richie. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say you don't have to. You didn't have to. I wouldn't say you didn't have to do much in order to beat the quality of the men's rumble from last year. That was one of the worst rumbles I've ever seen. So, but yeah, you get everything else.
Should we go scores out of 10 and kind of our overall thoughts on it or something like that? Go around the horn.
Yeah.
Richie, what do you think out of 10?
Yeah, I think I was like shitting on it in the chat, but then I'm like, actually, no, I actually did like the Rumble, and I did like that. So it's probably in terms of like Royal Rumble's probably like a bit of mid tier there, but the ending made up for it. But as overall pay per view, I think it's going to be very memorable, considering especially the last bit was one of the best built angles for a long time. So I'll go. Because of that angle, I'll go. I'll go 9. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
God damn. This dude said it sucked in the chat.
There's other things that saved it, but and again, I was a bit premature for saying something. I was like, okay, this is it.
Actually, you.
I'm not gonna go that high. I'll say a 7.5. I think 3 out of 5. I give pretty decent thumbs up to, and then 2 other ones that are under 8 minutes. One's barely 6. Which is kind of wonky, and so and I do have my little problems with the Rumble suit that stopped it from being like an all timer. So I'm gonna say 7.5. Definitely, I think we're checking out and advance some things that I do look forward to. So not bad by any means, but
yeah, I'd go a solid 7. Solid 7 because the men's thing was good overall. You had a few nice moments to kind of set up maybe some possible stuff for like WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber, things like that. But lack of surprises, lack of really really big moments. I feel like, and then sort of a predictable winner. And the Women's Rumble was pretty good too. And then the main event was a solid match, but more about the post show. But the post show was really good. And then you had 2 stinkers and a shitty band performance, and just a show that was longer than it needed to be. So overall, I'll give it a 7. I still don't think we've had a classic Rumble since like 2016, honestly.
2021 was good.
2020 was 21 was pretty good. Okay, pretty good. But I wasn't as into that one. I don't want to see. I mean, there's a whole stretch. I get the Brock thing, but running wild on like 15 people is a little boring after a while.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, it's not. I should say it's not very rewatchable. Especially since they did them all in a row. You go back to rewatch it, you're just going back, and you got to get past all that. So to me, it's not as rewatchable as some of my other ones. So there you go. What about you, Jacob?
I'm probably sitting at the 7.5. Also, I think they started strong, ended strong. And if that Hardy performance wasn't in, I think they would have ended really strong with the Women's Rumble and the Roman KO. But the 2 matches in the middle there just didn't do it for me as much. So I'm sitting at a 7.5.
also I still hate Peacock because Peacock itself makes it longer too.
Yeah, and I've decided, and I'm going to see if I can keep it up. I'm going to be ranking. Let's see if
I can't see that at all. I can't see that at all.
I can't see that.
Let's see. Let's see if I can turn the brightness down.
I'm the leprechaun.
But I'm going to be ranking every pay-per-view match that I watch this year. Just kind of.
If I mean, I don't know, it's going to happen between now and this time next year, but if I'm Triple H, if he's still around in charge, I'll be like, maybe next year is the year Gunther wins. And so, like, that could be, I don't know, I think he should win the Rumble at some point as well. But I think he's a starting point.
All right. Let's see where he ends up at WrestleMania. So, Richie, what are we doing in 2 weeks?
All right.
You won fair and you won fair and square. It did as we thought. Can't come down to our big wild card, which is us spinning that wheel and just going with whoever had the numbers for the winners as the bonuses and things like that. So you got all that stuff. You won all that. So what are we doing for our next show?
I mean that I had an idea in my head, but then I've sort of switched it because you kind of you put the plan aside in my head, and I think it's actually a decent idea. So yeah, why not? Why not go for an ECW draft? Yeah, like just draft people that you would think would fit in like an EC. Like you can draft people from, ECW. Old school ECW. You could draft people from the ECW. Or people you would think would fit in an ECW type brand. Today, and it could be it could be anywhere.
Okay.
So I don't know. We could probably talk about other specifics, but just I do like when you mention that. I'm like, yeah, no, I like the idea of an ECW draft. So if you want to do that,
Draft and a dream card, or just a draft?
we can do a draft and a dream card.
Both, but I say separate shows.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the dream card the following week. So we got 2 shows already planned.
All right,
Yeah.
so we
Look
can do
at us
a month of extreme, and
Why not?
spread them out. Yeah, do that, and then a ECW dream card using all the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll iron out the details.
Well, I would just suggest 3 shows then, which is I would draft our own dream card based off our draft.
Yeah. Dream. I thought that's what you meant, like the dream card from our.
Oh yeah, I just thought we would do a dream ECW pay-per-view as well, and you draft matches.
That's why I was saying 3.
Okay,
Draft
push it
show.
out. Yeah.
Use that draft and make your own
Make a
card
card,
from what you
yeah.
And
drafted.
then do it.
And then you could pick and choose from the
And
6,
literally
7
anybody
years
who was ever in official ECW, or even for any length of time, as long as they had a match, as long as they had a match,
Yeah.
not just an appearance, but like an actual match. They had to have had been official roster member basically at some point, and then also I guess WWE ECW counts. So if you want to draft CM Punk,
No, let's not go too nuts.
No,
let's stick to extreme. Let's stick to
old school.
O1.
Okay. But it includes Eastern Championship Wrestling, right? Going all the way back to '92.
If you want to include Snuka, sure.
I'm such a
Don Morocco.
Yeah, hey, it was ECW. So. Why? Because you just don't know ECW as well.
Didn't watch it as much. Yep. So.
Well, I'm an ECW guy, so I'm going deep on this one. I'll have fun.
I was late to the party.
So-
I was a fan after it had been dead already.
I'm a huge fan. It's one of my favorite things ever. So yeah,
I think it's not till the 9th.
Who's your champion going to be? 911.
Shane Douglas, the first ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling champion. We recognize the franchise Shane Douglas is our World Heavyweight Champion. And he threw the NWA belt down. Yeah.
I'm only drafting WWE ECW. That's all I'm drafting.
You're gonna draft
William Regal,
the vampire. What's his name?
Thorne. Yeah, Big Daddy
Third
V.
pick, Colin Delaney,
Mike Knox,
Sylvester Takai. Remember him?
Yeah, Mike Knox, Sylvester.
Fourth
the
pick,
zombie
Noble.
Yeah, the ECW zombie. You can draft him.
Zombie guy.
Fifth
Not
pick,
ideal, but Gavin Spears is up for grabs.
The
Big
Miz,
extreme expose.
The Miz, and John Morrison.
Sixth pick, Kelly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we'll stick to old school ECW, but yeah, I would say anybody's eligible. So, Cactus Jack, Steve Austin, Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, Hoovy, Sabu, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero. All those guys were in there. So, I mean, there's people already. Yeah, hey, Scott Hall had a match. Sid Vicious had some matches.
There's Steiners.
And it goes without saying, but I don't think we're drafting commentary teams this time.
There's not enough.
I'm going to draft Joey.
I don't know. There's enough for all
Joey
3 of us.
Styles.
Joey and Don Callis. That's better.
John Callis, and what else did you got?
But when we do our
Gardner.
dream cards of from our roster, if you want to like include a commentary team, you can.
I already drafted him on that original. I drafted Joey Styles and Don Callis as my commentary team because I thought they were great. But technically, Joey did it with Joe Gertner at one point for a little while. Tommy Dreamer was kind of a guest one on Barely Legal, but he barely said anything. There's no one to draft. It was just Joey all the time.
Speaking of ECW, so like on Raw, when they had the the sort of trial for Sami Zayn, and they're in Philadelphia, so I thought they'd pop for this, where Paul Heyman goes, "I find you guilty as charged." No, I was like, no, I meant he clearly did it on purpose. No one popped at all.
It's been like 30 years.
But I used to like when Joey would open the shows up back in the day on the pay-per-views, whatever it was called. He would do a little promo at the beginning, kind of working it into the promo. So he'd be like, "In a world where rules are everything, tonight anarchy rules." Or he'd be like, "We are all tonight guilty as charged." He would always like work on do something. Joe Gertner would usually work it into one of his promos with the Dudleys. He did a Cyber Slam thing one time where he said, "While you were sitting at your computer, I got your girlfriend and screwed her, Gertner." So there's good stuff. I always appreciated that. But I would, so anybody's eligible. We'll get to the dream card thing later, but I would say pretty much anything they did on pay-per-view or even some of those super shows back in the day, the night they crossed the line, shit like that would probably be eligible. So
the one that was called "This Is Not Seinfeld" or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, all those shows they used to do, Hostile City Showdown, all that shit, So there you go. That'd be fun. I'm looking for an ECW draft because if you dig deep, there's articles, Jacob. You could be like people who you didn't realize were in ECW for a little while, and there's probably some people that you could draft. So and there's some good stuff, good amount of picks.
Yeah.
I know the major players that were in ECW, but not.
Brian Myers and Michael Jordan were not in Impact.
You guys are so funny.
We're comedians. We did the same. We thought the same joke at the same time.
It's a swerve joke all over again. All right, that has been our Rumble review. Overall positive show. Join us in about a week and a half from now where we will be doing our ECW draft. And in the meantime, you can catch me researching ECW because without WWE ECW, my picks are
just look up Wikipedia. Everybody who was ever at ECW, just pick. There you
go. My first pick is Brackus.
I don't know if he was good. I'll pick him. We'll end the show with some quick plugs. So Richie, why don't you hit us with some plugs?
Oh, you can find me on here winning pay-per-view predictions apparently.
And Jordan, you can tell us.
You when I'm not here. You can find me when I'm not here winning pay-per-view predictions apparently. I'm on tournament fights. I'm on tier rank. In there, do trivia on Jordan's channel, wrestling and movie, and also wrestling trivia on Combat Wrestling Trivia, part of the Pull It Club. I can come up with the name. I think I'm versing in a non-title match Paul Mead here soon, so that's gonna be tough. But see what happens. Other than that, I do a podcast with friend Robert Cameron about Tubi. I'll tell him I'm streaming. With the episode we're going to drop this week is Day of the Warrior with Buff Bagwell, which is it's quite fun. I think it's probably the most fun I've had on the podcast so far. The next one we're recording soon will be a movie called Frankenhooker. So
I have that on DVD.
So check that out.
That's actually a fun one, Richie. You'll have a good time with that one. It's bonkers. You'll like it.
Yeah. So look out for that. And I'm around on various things. Show up on Rankum sometimes. Other than that, all good. I will see you in a week and a half.
All right, JPO.
Hi.
All
right.
What's the question? You didn't ask me a question.
It's kind of obvious at this point. I think I had to ask you a question.
Oh, just thought you'd be capable host. At the Piersco channel. Don't be. We do some movie trivia. We do countdowns. We do other things. Maybe we do drafts sometimes too. That happens randomly. You see some of these familiar faces over there. Also, Pierce Wrestling Channel, wrestling trivia, exclusive matches, exclusive interviews. Find me over at my OnlyFans. Thank you. Good night.
Austin, where can people find you?
here on the Movie Hero Network. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff going on. I'll be on JPO's Countdown on Wednesday night doing some Shyamalan. We'll be talking about that. And and if you are curious about watching me drink on camera, last night me and Wolfman recorded we're calling it our monthly mistake series. So last night was monthly mistake number 4. We did January horror. We did a drink along to the Bye Bye Man, and I honestly don't remember what I said in any of the last 30 minutes. So you can go on there and watch it and tell me. But that's on Mega Movies with a Z at the end on that channel, and I'm afraid to go back and watch it. So you tell me.
You take a shot every time they said bye bye.
So it's not a shot. Like we just sip beers because if we did shots, we'd be dead. But we do take. We do take a pre-shot of something. I take a shot of vodka before we start, and then I was also on an empty stomach. I forgot to eat something beforehand, so that made it worse. So yeah, I should have eaten like a bowl of rice or something, and I didn't. I just didn't have time because me and Jacob were watching the Royal Rumble, and I didn't eat anything. So I would have taken that time to eat something, but I didn't. And now we sip beers, and there's a website that has drinking games for almost every like major movie, and we looked one up, and there was like 9 different things we had to drink for on the Bye Bye Man, and it was really bad. So yeah, it was very bad. I'll fill you in later, Richie. I'm gonna listen to me, but not right now.
Yeah, and you can catch me here as well doing this podcast about movies. Austin and I just talked about the Oscars yesterday. So if you want to hear our thoughts on some of the things we thought the Oscars got wrong, because apparently we're the experts here, you can go back and watch that. And then also tomorrow, catch us drafting animated TV shows. That's going to be a fun one. It's going to be the two of us, Jordan Anderson and Ryan Nussbaum. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then you can catch me in 10 days making a fool of myself in the ECW draft.
I think it would be very similar to when I think it was Jordan's idea. We drafted indie wrestling.
Oh yeah, the independent. Yeah, that one sucked too. I was like,
I feel like we could also at some point draft TNA or Impact wrestlers because it goes back a long time, and literally that would be anybody that's even been in TNA. You could draft like Macho Man Randy Savage or Lex Luger. You could draft DDP. You could draft Jushin Thunder Liger. All kinds of people.
Yeah,
Okada was in there for a minute.
I don't think they realized what they had with Okada at the time. Anyway,
the Young Bucks, all kinds of people.
The generation me, yeah. I think TNA is like ECW, where you can find a lot of people we didn't know about TNA, especially when they did the weekly pay-per-views everywhere show.
Yeah. So you can catch me in 10 days making a fool of myself. Kind of the same way this guy did, because
back to that.
No doctor, but that's not how it's supposed to be. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time.